So can you believe they go back to, and again, one of your older videos, this video about fisking the New York Times was not released anytime recently. They go back to the archives.
Exactly, Grant, and it's amazing how this video has been out for as long as it has, but I think it's a coordinated effort, as I thought the last rage spiral was a coordinated effort. It is really embarrassing if you are a reporter with the New York Times, as is Adam Goldman, that you do not know a common casual term, and that apparently Goldman's Google is broken, and that he's unable to look up the definition of a word with which he is unfamiliar. Your stupidity, Adam, your illiteracy, your limited vocabulary is not my problem. And you know what? Isn't it the New York Times that has always traditionally portrayed flyover nation citizens and Trump voters and everybody else as backwoods, one-tooth hillbillies who can't read a book, much less own one? Well, that kind of just blows this narrative completely out of the water. No, but there's a reason, Grant, why they want to change and sexualize, because I guess, you know, if Adam Goldman wants to think that everything sounds like fist, that's on him, right? That's not on us. But there's a reason why they want to change the definition of this word, because they want to make their narrative a physical threat. They want to say that a promise to fact check the New York Times is a physical threat. And I think that anyone who would think that a free citizen's promise to fact check their press and they would call that a threat, that person's a very sick individual. Are you a free people if you do not have the right to criticize your press? Are you a free people if you do not have the right to fact check the media that has so maliciously maligned you? No, you are not. Any right that you are dissuaded from exercising is a right that you do not have. And just as the press has every freedom to write what it would like, so do, Grant, do a free people have every right to criticize and fact check that press. It is our right too.
Well, you better believe, Dana, that that is exactly what we're doing. In fact, we've made it our mission on this program to go after the New York Times and fact check just about everything they do, because Americans are now onto them. And this concocted controversy that they've now made a habit of doing, it's bogus. It's beyond fake news. It's deceitful. And it's as if they have nothing else to cover. There's a lot going on in the world than talk about whether Dana Loesch said fisk or fist.
Let's put this in context. The New York Times, just recently, and I believe it was last year, Grant, their public editor, Liz Spade, was fired. Why was she fired? After she appeared on Tucker Carlson's program, they were discussing media bias, and she inadvertently admitted that some reporters at the New York Times had actually been too hostile in their approach to covering Trump and in their writings of the president, and that it had been indeed biased. In fact, Arthur Sulzberger Jr., who is the publisher, Grant, of the New York Times, came out and said that the New York Times, quote, missed its mark, and that it was unbelievably biased in reporting about the president. But Jim Rutenberg, who's a columnist at the New York Times, wrote in one of his pieces not long ago that the New York Times, Grant, has absolutely no duty at all whatsoever to be objective when writing about the president, because they don't like the way he talks. So maybe people out there can tell us whether or not that they think that demonstrates a bias.
Yeah. Well, as a side note to all of this, you actually helped Google out a little bit. Do you know, Dana, that after this all started over the weekend, that Fisk, F-I-S-K, is now one of the most searched terms on Google?
Well, wonderful. I love the fact that the NRA is not just educating people about their Second Amendment rights, but we're also expanding progressive people's vocabularies as well. And I mean by that, the New York Times.
Yep, you better believe it. We're always here to help, aren't we, Dana?
We're just public servants. We're here to make friends.
That's us. Dana Loesch and Grant Stinchfield, just making friends everywhere we go. Dana, thank you.
Making friends. That's where it is. Thank you, Grant. Good to see you.